Hello students, we are going to deal with the topic Training for Development Part 2. An approach is a structured way to deliver a training topic. Using approaches to deliver training topics provide a structure for participant learning. Varying methods maximizes participant involvement and learning while accommodating for diverse learning styles. Each approach has certain advantages and disadvantages. Some are more suited for certain kinds of training than others. One approach or perhaps a combination of approaches is usually most appropriate for most trainings. The commonly used approaches are creativity, motivation, self-awareness, self-development, field training and group dynamics, etc. Each approach is discussed below in detail. Now, we will go through creativity training. Creativity refers to the intellectual power to create something new. This intellectual power, in fact, symbolizes the quality of imaginative skills to create something original rather than to imitate something which already exists. Creativity usually refers to the intellectual ability to make or to do something never seen or known before. To be physical object, production process, device, artistic object or solution to a problem and so on. Creativity is also a purposeful activity and intellectual ability that produces valuable products, services, processes or ideas that are better or new. Creative ability often gains recognition based on what and how something is created, namely a creation which is entirely new. A creation achieved by synthesizing two or more unrelated things or factors. And lastly, a creation obtained in an entirely new shape by complete modification of something that existed earlier. The power or quality of imaginative skills to produce something new is greatly influenced by the creativity process or flow of imaginative thinking, which ultimately contributes to the formation of unique creative ideas. Creativity training focuses on the three things, namely breaking away, generate new ideas, delaying judgment. Breaking away. Identify the dominant ideas influencing his own thinking. Define the boundaries within which he or she is working and bring the assumptions out into the open and challenges everything. Generate new ideas. Trainee should open his mind, look at the problem from all the possible angles and list as many as alternative approaches. Delaying judgment. To provide creative thinking, trainees should not kill off ideas too quickly. Generate as many ideas as possible and allow ideas to grow a little. The creativity training program provides the following benefits: spark creativity on demands, turn problems into opportunities, increase number of new and practical ideas dramatically, and gain contributions from everyone in the organization by using idea generating tools that are productive and fun. Field trips are an excellent means of providing opportunities to participants to observe and experience things, objects, activities in natural settings. When the participants are exposed to real world, they get first-hand experience and can relate their practical experience with theory. The learners also experience sensory impressions which could never occur in classroom, but are characteristics of the environment in which new behavior must occur. Field trips, tours or excursions may or may not be participative learning experiences, but the success depends on how well the trips are organized and executed to meet the learning objectives. Field trips should be pertinent to the need of the learner and as much appropriate as possible to real situations. The steps required for planning effective field trips are: design experiences that meet specific objectives and needs of the participants and select most appropriate site for all the expected learning to occur, and plan logistics like lodging, boarding, transportation, etc. and select individuals to accompany participants during the field trip. And it is extremely useful for the trainer to accompany the participants during the field trip to enhance group process for observing and studying the field situation. Follow up the field visit through reports and discussions. Advantages of field trips. It gives an opportunity to the participants to observe and get first-hand information in natural settings, and it will be more relate their practical experience to the theoretical knowledge covered in a course. Discover and supplement those realities that cannot be brought to the classroom situation and break the monotony of learning. The natural setting facilitates in developing interdependence when participants work in small group of individuals and thereby develop team spirit. And the report writing after field trip is an essential component, helps the participants to systematically collect, analyze and present the information. And there are few disadvantages of field trips. Arranging fieldwork is a time consuming and cost effective process, and at times the unavailability of required finance may not permit use of this method. Field trip requires high coordination ability on the part of the trainer. If field trips are not planned carefully, then the effectiveness of this method may get lost. Sometimes when participants consider field trip as a pleasure trip and the source of entertainment, then the purpose of field trips gets diluted. Moreover, if the follow-up of field trip is not done, then it becomes difficult to analyze the success of field trips. For example, Farmers Field School. Farmers Field School is a non-formal education imparted to farmers wherein a situation for field-oriented, discovery-based learning is created. It is a farmers' participatory approach learning process. Farmers Field School is a season-long training program to impart training to the farmer for one day in a week throughout the season. It was found by Kurt Lewin to study group decision, group productivity, group interaction, group cohesiveness and group communication. The underlying assumption was that the laws of group behavior can be established independently of the goals or specific activities of group irrespective of the structure of the group. Group dynamics contains two terms, group and dynamics. Group is basically a collectivity of two or more persons. Dynamics comes from Greek word meaning force. Group dynamics is therefore concerned with the interactions and forces among group members in a social situation. It is the way in which members of a group interact with one another and the effect of the group as a whole on its members. Group dynamics exercises develop group cohesiveness and problem solving skills and encourage collaboration and creativity. These activities generally begin with an introduction by the trainer who set up a problem or challenge for the group to solve. Some are physical and active, while others are brain teasers. This exercise should be fun while providing experience of using teamwork to solve these specific problems. Laboratory training is also known as sensitivity or L group or T group training. S means sensitivity, L means learning and T means training. This method is originally developed by a group of social scientists under the reference of National Training Laboratory in USA. The method mainly consists of 10 to 15 trainees working under close observation of trainers. The group has no fixed agenda or instruction schedule. Initially, it is started with individual and slowly develops into a group and starts sharing of experiences on wider topics. Intensive participation and immediate feedbacks are two important aspects of this method. The ultimate responsibility of success rests upon the participants based on introspection, feedback and openness. The sensitivity training program comprises of 3 steps as shown in the figure. The first step is unfreezing the old values, and the second step is development of new values, and the third step is refreezing the new ones. Now, we will go step by step. Unfreezing the old values. It requires the trainees become aware of inadequacy of the old values. The first step consists of a small procedure. An unstructured group of 10 to 15 people is formed. Later, unstructured group without any objective looks to the trainer for its guidance, but the trainer refuses to provide guidance and assumes leadership. Soon the trainees are motivated to resolve the uncertainty. Then they try to form some hierarchy. Some try to assume leadership role which may not be liked by the other trainers. Then they started realizing that what they desire to do and realize the alternative ways to dealing with the situation. Second point, development of new values. With the trainer's support, trainees begin to examine their interpersonal behavior and giving each other feedback. The reasoning of the feedback is discussed, which motivates trainees to experiment with the range of new behaviors and values. This process constitutes the second step in the change process of the development of these values. And the third step, rephrasing the new ones. This step depends upon the extent of opportunity the trainees get to participate their new behavior and values at their workplace. Now, we will look after merits. It is a participation oriented methodology based on the self-learning process very much suited to mature groups. The mental blocks or hidden agenda of participants are removed in a spontaneous process. The interaction skills are much developed and the trainee learns in a partial situation how to structure himself to interact with others to bring out fruitful consequences out of such interactions. And demerits. It is a very touchy and sensitive type of program and some of the managers or executives cannot put up with such programs. The participants with mild or strong psychological diseases like neurosis, psychosis, manias and phobia may upset the entire program. Even 1 or 2 participants with such diseases can do sufficient damage to the program. Highly trained, experienced, specialized and talented trainers are needed to conduct sensitivity training programs. The sensitivity training is not suitable to certain lower cadres. Motivation is the need or drive within an individual that drives him towards goal-oriented action. A vital managerial function in any organization is to motivate employees. This is because motivation is inextricably linked to employee satisfaction and ensures employees consistently excel at their jobs. Motivation is especially important in the hospitality industry, where employee satisfaction and competence are key determinants of service quality. Motivation plays a major role in achieving high performance in the workplace. But just because an employee is motivated does not guarantee he or she will perform satisfactorily. Before an organization motivates their employees, it needs to recognize the following points. The first point, employees' needs vary from one person to another. To accommodate the diverse needs of employees, a variety of motivational strategies must be implemented throughout the organization. Training on motivation improves motivational levels in the employees that boosts personal and professional performance. It helps employees connect better and establish successful working relationships, thus contributing to the success of an organization. The benefits of employee motivation training are: improves efficiency, better adaptability to change, improves workforce stability, improves loyalty towards organization. An effective training technique for motivation is cross-training. When implemented horizontally, upward and downward, department heads, assistants and employees can cross-train either within the department or in different departments. With support, employees can have a day's training in the role of department heads. A department head can take a general manager's role in his absence. This is a form of cross-training. Cross-training should be carefully planned and presented as a learning opportunity. It should be part of yearly training and cover all positions and departments. Beginning with the supervisory level, it must filter down to entire level positions. This technique achieves the following objectives. It prevents stagnation. It offers learning and opportunities for professional development, and it regenerates all departments and improves understanding of different departments as a whole, and it leads to better coordination and teamwork, and it erases differences, enmity and unhealthy competition. It increases knowledge, know-how, skill and work performance, and improves overall motivation, and enables sharing of organizational goals and objectives. Self-awareness is the capacity to recognize one's own feelings, behavior and characteristics, to understand the cognitive, physical and emotional self. At a basic level, it simply understands that you are a separate entity from others. In a broader sense, the questions, who am I, what do I want, what do I think and how do I feel, are all questions that require self-awareness to answer. Areas of self-awareness. By using this awareness wheel, one can become aware of several different areas of one's internal world. In this awareness wheel, we can see sensory data, thoughts, feelings and wants for and actions. In sensory data, we can look observations, descriptions, examples, facts and figures, and as thoughts like assumptions, beliefs, interpretations, expectations, evaluations and opinions, and feelings like emotions, happy, frustrated, disappointed, sad, angry and excited. And same as sensory data, the wants for are observations, descriptions, examples, facts and figures. And the action can be divided as future, past and present. In past and present, we can see behavior, statements, activities and accomplishments, and in future, plans, proposals and promises. Hereby, learning on the job in this manner requires a degree of self-awareness about the type of activity that best suits one's own style. It also requires good planning to identify opportunities that lie ahead. If a person is unsure of his or her own preferred style and need assistance with identification, the learning and development manager has to provide advice and tools to help with this. Examples of activities which, when blended together, enhances personal development: reading, networking, instruction, attending conferences and being a member of committees or working in groups, attending a formal training event, or moving into a new or different work role, or watching training educational videos, being involved in role plays or simulations, using case studies to develop knowledge, asking for feedback on performances from colleagues, and watching relevant documentaries, news items on the television or listening to selected radio programs. Involvement in coaching, mentoring relationships, keeping a personal development journal, participating in a group discussion, belonging to an action learning program, involvement in activities related to a professional body or employers association. E-learning. A large section of computer based courses is now available and can generally be completed from the comfort of own desk. E-learning tends to be interactive, carefully designed, and many include video, sound, pictures as well as text and check tests to measure understanding. Blended learning or combination of one or more approaches is a common sense concept that results in great learning success. The blended learning approach is simply acknowledging that one size does not fit all when it comes to training. In a nutshell, blended learning means using more than one training method to train on one subject. Here are several good reasons to use a blended learning approach. A research study showed that a blended learning program reduced both the time and the cost of training by more than 50%. The same study showed a 10% improved result in learning outcomes compared with traditional training. And learning experts believe that a big advantage of blended learning is that it more closely replicates how people actually learn on the job through experience and interaction with co-workers. This approach works well because the variety of approaches keeps trainers and trainees engaged in training. Blended learning simply makes a lot of sense. Blended learning or combination of one or more approaches offers trainees a well-planned sessions that is custom designed for them, the subject and the learning environment. In the long run, blended learning saves time and money since this training process is an efficient use of resources to help employees develop sufficient levels of knowledge and retention. Any questions, students?
Ma'am, in all training methods, which one is more useful for an employee?
For an employee, the cross-training method is suitable. In cross-training method, the employee will be compared with the heads, assistants and employees. By this cross-training method, he will regenerate and he will get motivation and he will work to his extent. And cross training should be very carefully planned because he does not feel that he is very subordinate and he has to feel that he is good enough to stabilize with the hierarchies. So, of course, for an employee the cross training method is well sufficient. Any more questions? Okay, let us conclude here. Thank you.